Policy changes in countries like the UK, the US, Canada, and Australia makes international students to ponder about which country they can relocate to that will serve as alternative options to each of these countries that I've earlier mentioned, because at least it will give them an affordable, high quality education. Yes, if you're in that category of international student, you need to watch this video to the end, because I've got 4 different countries that can serve as alternative options to each of these countries that I've earlier mentioned, which is the UK, the US, Canada, and Australia. 4 best countries in the EU that can serve as alternative relocation destination for all international students. Okay, yes, and of course, the first options on my list that I'm going to mention is Germany. Germany is a very good country, is in the center of Europe, and no tuition fees are paid in public universities. Mark my words, public universities. The policy of German government is such that they want to make education to be very, very accessible to both national and international students. That is why all public schools, they don't pay tuition fee. However, of course, you still need to bother about your accommodations, transportation fee, feeding, and of course, buying of books. And there is also something called semester contributions that every student needs to pay, which ranges between 100 to 600 euro per semester. That is what every student studying in public universities needs to bother about, okay? And also depend on the type of courses or program that you are studying in these public universities. Now, language of instruction is mostly in German or Dutch. And of course, you will still find some of these public universities having some courses taught in English, particularly if the mandate of the program for each of those faculties are to attract international applicants. So you will still find some of those courses taught in English. And there are many private universities in Germany that you can find English-speaking courses. And of course, since they are private universities, you will always find their tuition fees ranging between 3,000 euro to around 12,000 euro per session. Yes, and that is why they are private universities, and some of them also allow instrumental payment, and they have many courses that are taught in English. Now, Germany maintains high quality education in research-driven programs. Yes, particularly in engineering, in medicine, courses in natural sciences, courses in medicines and the likes. They have high quality education in some of those programs and in some of those courses. And that is why they ensure that the courses and the programs that they teach, their education system is the best. They try as much as possible to make it very accessible and very affordable to both national and international students. Now, Germany is in the middle of Europe, which means your student residence permit give you access to all other European countries for those that want to travel, maybe during their vacations or during their school holidays. If you want to travel, it gives you access to all other European countries. Okay, now, the good thing about Germany again is this. Germany has changed its naturalizations policy, which means now, if you study legally or you live legally in Germany, you can naturally apply for citizenship after 5 years. And of course, depending on the type of skill set that you have, the new policy also gives some advantage to some very skilled high individual to get naturalization after 3 years, which I think it is Germany is the only country that have such policy in place. But the normalcy there is that now, after 5 years, everyone can apply for citizenship or permanent residence if you are living in Germany. Now, one of the, of course, some of the disadvantages in studying in Germany are this, because I'm going to give you the beauty of studying in each of this country and those are some of the roadblocks that you can come across. Okay, so now Germany has what is called a block policy account. What that means is that even if you're not paying tuition fee in your school, the feeding cost, transportation cost, accommodation costs, and even buying of books and the likes, even if it is around maybe 1,000 euro that is going to cost you, say, for a session or for 1 year, they would want you to open an account in their country and put that money there. They will block that money in, they call it a block account, such that every month they make a percentage of what you will need per month to survive in their country accessible and available to you. Okay? And of course, they also have 20 hours of work per week for students, especially during holidays or if you want to be merging work with study. Okay? And also, the language is another barrier in Germany, because integration, especially if you are coming from an English-speaking country, you will find it difficult to communicate very easily, particularly if you are speaking to the elderly people. But from my research, most young people there speak in English. Okay, you can always find English because English is also their second language there. They teach it in some of the schools there, private schools and even some public schools. They teach English as their second language in that country. And another thing is visa appointment and legalization of your document is somehow, especially for those that are coming from Nigeria, getting visa appointments is somehow very tedious, very difficult, because once you've been able to secure admission, the next thing that you need to do is to book visa appointment days. So, getting those dates, especially for Nigerians, this information is especially for Nigerians. Getting visa appointment date is very, very tedious. But if you are lucky, if you're not in Nigeria, if you're watching this video from other countries, I am definitely sure that you'll be able to access visa appointments from all other countries. And I learned recently that somebody went to another country, booked appointments in another country, and went there to apply for visa. If that works for you, all well and good. And Germany weather too, yes, is very snowing. It's always snowing in Germany. Their weather is very, 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 very cold. You have a very cold weather there. And if you don't mind, if you have your winter jacket and every other thing that can help you stay warm in Germany, you are good to go. And one of the beauty of it, again, is that you can check world university ranking to see the list of private and public universities in Germany. And this period of the year is when they will usually, most of the countries, all of the countries that I'm going to talk about, this month of the year is when each of these schools and countries roll out applications for new academic session for 2025 intake. Yes, that is that for Germany. And as always, this is Japa with their days. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel so that by the time we drop informations and opportunities like this, you will be the first person to get notification. Now, let's talk about the other country, Luxembourg. That is the second country that I'm going to talk about. Luxembourg is the second country. Now, Luxembourg is the richest country in the world based on GDP. Yes, they have free public health care system in Luxembourg. They have free, free transportations, both for buses and underground trains. Yes, all of these transportation systems are free for everyone legally residing in Luxembourg. And they maintain one of the highest salary ratings in EU. Yes, which means after you study, if you manage to secure a job, you will likely earn more than minimum wage. The amount of money, the salary range is as low as maybe 3,500 euro upward, depending on the type of skills that you that you maintain or that you have capacity in. Okay, now tuition fees for University of Luxembourg, which is the public universities in Luxembourg, tuition fee ranges between 100 to 400 euro, depending on the program and the courses per semester. 100 to 400 euro, that is their tuition fee for University of Luxembourg. And of course, they also have many private institutions in Luxembourg that you can apply to, and their tuition fee ranges between, say, 3,000 euro up to 10,000 euro, which I think is still good compared to the UK, the US, Canada, and maybe Australia. Yes, you can still find some private institution having tuition fee around 3,000 to 10,000 euro, and they have high acceptance rate. Once you've been able to secure admission at the University of Luxembourg, they have high acceptance rate with respect to visa. And of course, given the fact that the University of Luxembourg is the only public universities in Luxembourg, so that would mean that most of the programs for all faculties are very, very competitive, especially because their tuition fee is around 100 euro per semester, 100 euro to 400 euro per semester. So of course, everybody would want to benefit from that kind of thing. And they always have limited candidates or limited applicants that each course is permitted to admit. Yes. Now, and Luxembourg is a multilingual environment. What that means is that they speak French, they speak English, they speak Dutch, and they speak Luxembourg in Luxembourg. So you will normally, or maybe very possible for you to integrate easily, depending on the language that you have capacity in. And another beauty of Luxembourg, or of studying in Luxembourg, is that after 5 years, you can apply for citizenship. Yes, after 5 years, you can apply for citizenship and stay back, get a job, and start working in Luxembourg, because there are many international jobs for English speaker, Dutch speaker, French speakers, and those who speak Luxembourg as well. There are many jobs in Luxembourg. Although for students, you are only permitted to work with your study, to combine work and study. You are only permitted per week to work up to, say, 15 hours of work per week. That is one of the things that you need to put in mind. I wouldn't say it's a disadvantage. That's one of the things that you need to put in mind if you are considering Luxembourg as a relocation destination. The third country on my list is Austria. Yes, Austria education system has also tried as much as possible to subsidize their education to make it very, very accessible to both national and international students. Now, this means that no tuition fees are paid by any student in public universities in Austria, but there is something called semester contribution that all national and international students need to also pay per semester. National students, in terms of contributions, ranges around 250 to 400 euro per semester, while international students ranges between 730 euro to 750 euro per semester. So it is not, they don't call it tuition fee, they call it per semester. That is all students pay for studying in Austria. Yes, of course, you still also have to bother about your accommodations, your feeding, your transportations, and even, of course, buying of books. Yes, that is the only thing that you would need to bother about within when you are providing your proof of funds to apply for residence permits or to apply for visa. And of course, the language of instructions for all of the courses, based on what I've seen or based on what I've researched for clients, is all, I would say it's around 50-50, because in Austria they speak Dutch in Austria. So which means the language of instruction that you will find for most of the courses will either be in Dutch or will be in English. So it depends on the type of course and the mandate for each of the course, if it is to attract more international applicants to come in. But majority of the courses there, you will also find them in English, and majority you will also find them also in Dutch, okay? And of course, there are private institutions also in Austria, so which means you can budget around 3,000 euro to up to 10,000 euro for tuition fee. Yes, in Austria, because many of the private institutions there, they charge tuition fee. But public universities don't charge tuition fee. You only pay a semester contribution depending on your nationality, okay? Now, and they have high quality education system, especially in engineering, in medicine, in nursing, and maybe natural sciences. Yes, they have high quality education system in some of these faculties or courses or programs. that you can think about or study in. And it is a very friendly and safe place to live in, okay? Especially with your family. Austria is a very good and safe country to live in. The weather is very, very snowy and chilly there, depending on the time of the day anyway. But of course, it sometimes changes depending on the time of the year that you relocate to Austria. And to get nationality or to apply for permanent residence, you must have lived in Austria up to 10 years for you to be able to be eligible to apply for citizenship. Yes, you must have lived in Austria for up to 10 years for you to be able to apply for citizenship or permanent residence. Now, Austria also have unlimited hours of work for students. So which means if you are lucky to secure a job as a student and you want to combine them with your study, as long as you have the time and it will not affect your classes or coursework, of course, you can work unlimited hours in Austria. And of course, they are very strict with their proof of funds, especially when you approach their embassy to apply for work, to apply for residence permit, or to apply for student visa. They are very strict with your student. They are very strict with their proof of funds. So you must be able to show proof of how the money that is inside your account got to be inside your account. You must be able to show proof of how each of the funds that was sent to your account, how they got there. If it is your family, if it's your brother, whoever gave you the money, must be able to show proof how they got the money and your relationship with each of these people and why they have decided to provide that money for you. And another thing that you also need to bother about, especially for Nigerian, is that getting appointment for legalization and for applying for visa or residence permit is always very tedious. Yes, getting appointment in some of these in their only for Nigeria. That is what I've seen so far. Anyway, only for those that are in Nigeria, getting appointment date is very, very tedious because you need to legalize your document first for most of the institution in Austria before you can apply for admission. But some of them still allow that, when you come in, you can show a legalized document. That is for Austria. The ogat patapata of them all, what that means is that the best of them all that I'm going to talk about is my country where I live in. That is Portugal. Yes, Portugal is the fourth European country that I'm going to talk about. Yes. Now, Portugal offers a very high quality and affordable education system. Yes, very high quality and affordable education system. Yes, and on my channel, if you scroll through, I've talked about different ways in which you can study in Portugal, different schools. I've listed different criteria and ways in which you can get your document authenticated and legalized if you are coming to Portugal. So there are many videos that you can find as very useful on my channel, particularly for Portugal. Okay, yes. And of course, passports, of course, you are eligible to apply for citizenship after living and residing in Portugal after 5 years. Yes, and Portugal has unlimited hours of work for all students, unlimited as your capacity can carry. I was doing 2 jobs myself before, a part-time Saturday and Sunday and a full-time Monday to Friday. But at some point, I had to leave the part-time. So unlimited hours of work as your capacity can carry. And the weather is very, very amazing in Portugal. I mean, this is afternoon. You can see that it's sunny, and in other European countries, it's very chilly in other European countries. So, and in here, it is sunny at this time of the day. So, yes, and yes, Portugal is considered one of the safest countries to live in by Global Peace Index. Yes, I mean, they are rated top 5 to top 10 safest country to live in. Yes. And of course, tuition fee in Portugal ranges depending on the program and the type of courses or the schools for public universities that you want to apply to or public polytechnic that you want to apply to. Tuition fee ranges between 1,500 euro to 4,500 euro for public universities. Now, and of course, all of these fees are payable up to 10 installments. And if you know what you are doing, if you can also apply for up to 20 installments. At some point in my school, I was paying my tuition fee up to 20 installments. I got this is not a public information, but If you are lucky to gather that information, you'll be able to know how to apply. But of course, you must be able to provide some justification for why you want 20 installments. So yes, the norms is 10 installments regardless of the tuition fee that you are paying. And in private school, they also have private schools in Portugal, which their tuition fee, depending on the type of course that you are, studying there, ranges between 4,500 to 10,000 euro, which is also good compared to the UK, the US, Canada, and maybe Australia. Yes, their tuition fee for private school also ranges around 4,500 to 10,000 euro per session. Okay, now Portuguese is the language of instructions for most of these public universities. However, some of them, depending on the faculties or the courses that you want to do, some of these public universities also have some courses like, say, for instance, as a general norm in most of the school, courses like maybe management, courses like accounting, courses like finance and the like. Some of those courses are taught in English, but of course, majority of the courses are in Portuguese, and Portuguese, of course, is the general language for everybody here. However, there are many, adults or young guys in Portugal that speaks in English, and in fact, you will find your integration very easy. It is when you are speaking to the elderly, the older one, that you will be struggling with the language to be able to communicate with them, particularly if you want to buy something with them. Okay, so, but of course, if you go to cinemas and maybe you send your children to school, yes, they also have English. Most of their cinemas or most of the movies they show in cinemas are in English, so which helps majority of their youth to understand English. And if you send your children to school here, they also teach in English, while the normal language of instruction is in Portuguese, but they try as much as possible because English is the second language. So they try as much as possible to ensure that their younger ones understand English for global competitions, so that it will help them to be able to build capacity in other language. Yes, and if you want to learn Portuguese, yes, of course, most of the schools also allow you to be learning Portuguese on the side and schooling on the side to be able to integrate very well in each of the courses. And one of the beauty of it, again, is this: if you want to learn Portuguese, particularly if you go to the public institutions to learn Portuguese, the government will also be paying you to learn their language. Yes, that is great, right? Yes, so the government will also be paying you to learn their language. Now, since inflations that happened in 2022 to 2023, the housing costs skyrocketed. Like when I came in early January 2021 or 2020 or thereabout, the housing cost is around, for a one-bedroom apartment, the housing cost is around maybe 250 to 200. But now, you will even be begging the landlord to collect 500 to 600 or 700 euro for them to collect it from your hand. So it's now, especially if you are living in cities like maybe Lisbon, Porto, Agave, and the likes, housing costs skyrocketed in some of those big cities. But if your school is in the remote areas, of course, you will still enjoy a very, very affordable housing rent and things like that. And of course, the feeding and all of those things are still on a very, very affordable end. So you will still, enjoy yourself in Portugal. Healthcare is very free for everyone, and public transportation also for master students and PhD students are also subsidized. So which means if the cost is 20 euro, you pay 10 euro. So they try as much as possible to subsidize transportation costs for all students, master and PhD students. Of course, if you bring in your family into Portugal, you also get child support. Yes, you can get child support, but of course, you must be working before you can be eligible for child support for any children that you bring into Portugal or that you give birth to in Portugal. Now, Portugal job market has been very, very friendly lately because they have been attracting international English jobs into Portugal. So there are many English-speaking jobs that you will find in Portugal, jobs in the area of customer service, HR, accounting, and the like. You will find many English jobs in Portugal because they have been very, very friendly with respect to English job. So which means after your study, if you want to stay back, if you like it in Portugal, you can easily stay back and live in Portugal with your family. The minimum wage as at now is 860 euro. And one of the beauty of it is that the government always responds to the economic demand, and that is what influences the increase in the minimum wage. So which means if the cost of housing, cost of feeding, and the things like that are going on the high side, they try as much as possible to review them. This year alone, it was reviewed up to 2 or 3 times before it is now pegged at 860. So that is one of the beauty of Portugal. They always try as much as possible to review based on the economic demand in Portugal. Yes, so that is Portugal for you. And these are the 4 best countries that you can live in or that you can study in as an international student. So if you were to decide on any of the 4 countries that I have mentioned, let us know in the comment section what will be that factor that will influence your decision to choose either Portugal, Austria, Luxembourg, or to choose Germany. Yes, those are the 4 best countries that you can study in for all international applicants. Also, if you are already studying in any of these European countries, especially if there's any countries that was not mentioned in this video, and you feel that based on your personal experience there, yes, it is a very good place to study, let us know in the comment section. We will try as much as possible to see how we can bring that information our way. Please, we love to hear your experience, particularly each of these countries that we've mentioned, because there are many things, many factors that were not mentioned, many things based on your own personal experience that you would like to share. Drop them on the comment section so that others can also learn from them as well. Okay. And if you are just coming across our channel, this is Japa with their days. On this channel, we discuss beautiful relocation tips that will aid your decision to relocate to any choice European countries. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, please like and subscribe to this channel so that when we drop informations and opportunities like this, you will be the first person to get notification. Also, share this video to your loved ones. This is an important information that will aid people's decision come 2025 for them to be able to decide on the best European countries to relocate to, and it is very important to us as well. Please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Till we come your way next time, okay? Bye-bye for now.